Welcome to another episode of the MASSP podcast. My name is Ryan Casey. I got to have an inspiring conversation today with MASSP President and current principal at Cedar Springs High School, Todd Simmons. Todd is a champion at building student and staff culture, and he shared some really great initiatives and strategies his team has created to help foster an environment of trust and rapport. We talk about the school's super secret Staff Spirit Week, as well as the Every Student Known program, as just a couple of the tools they use to connect with stakeholders. I think everyone will really like hearing from Todd today, so enjoy. So enjoy your ride to or from school, your run on the treadmill, or however you like to listen, because another MASSP podcast episode starts now. All right. Well, he is no stranger to the MASSP podcast. Todd Simmons joining us once again. Thank you so much for finding a few minutes and chatting with me one more time. I appreciate it, Todd.
Thank you, Mr. C.
Hey, I know we've had you on the podcast before for a lot of different reasons of all the great work you've done over the years. And I know you don't like hearing this type of stuff, but I'm going to say it anyways. You know, you are one of the strongest leaders that I know, especially when it comes to your ability to support, foster, strengthen relationships and culture in your buildings that you've been at with both students and staff. That's why you're such a great advocate for secondary education, why you're president of MASSP right now. So many great things you've done over the years. And I'm excited to have you on to talk about another really cool thing that you have going on at Cedar Springs right now, which is the super secret Staff Spirit Week. Correct me if I got that incorrect. So I heard you talking about it at a board meeting a few weeks back, and I just thought others might want to learn more about this as well. So what is it? What is it all about?
Thanks, Mr. C. So I'll start with the why, the why behind the what. So the why is really trying to rally around some commonalities with the professionals in our building. And we do talk a lot about Mr. Hattie and that collective efficacy and the importance of it. And we have some initiatives that we directly correlate to that collective efficacy. This is a real fun one. And we just feel like when they, meaning our kids, see us doing something fun, seeing us connected, seeing us being vulnerable, and just trusting each other enough to be a little bit goofy, a little bit off, we feel like that's going to help us build greater relationships with them. And it kind of feeds into one of our big initiatives here that hopefully we'll touch on is our Every Student Known initiative, which is being fueled by Mr. Dave Stewart's Moments of Genuine Connection, as we seek to make sure that all 1,100 of our kids have an authentic, genuine connection with at least one adult in this building.
Awesome. So, I think most people can kind of guess based on the title. It's this, Staff Spirit Week. So the staff are all going to be involved, and I'll let you share kind of the details. You can maybe walk through what you did this fall. But the flip side of this, as you mentioned, is this is also something that's designed for kids to kind of take notice of and to see, as you mentioned, kind of how teachers can come together. So can you talk a little bit, Todd, exactly as kind of how is it ran? What are some of the dates that the different days, that you've done? And what have you seen as a result of that, not just among your teachers, but also among the students?
Yes, sir. So the super secret Staff Spirit Week, all the credit goes to Mrs. Amy Holmes, who's our champion AP Spanish teacher upstairs, and also to Mrs. Betsy Teskey, who is our champion STUCO leader and also a special educator here on our team. They'll tell you they give all the credit to Miss Heidi Bonema of Fremont Schools. That's where they plagiarized it from. But the super secret Staff Spirit Week is just like that. It's just designed for kids to take notice, and they did, and it was a lot of fun. They really sparked that week in November. We're going to do another one in the spring. The one we did here in November, I believe it was November, sometime this late fall. On Monday, it was Back in Black, all black. And I think that day we might have had almost 100%, like all 80, 85 adults in this building were just rocking the black. And I remember being
Awesome.
in a classroom, a couple of classrooms that day, and I just sit next to one of my kids, and I remember leaning over to me saying, "Hey, Mr. Simmons, why is everybody wearing black?" And I'm like, "Oh, really? I didn't even notice." And it was just fun. It just started a movement that week. Then Tuesday, I think it was animal print or polka dot day. I think you could go stripes as well. Wednesday was um, like vocation or craft day, where you had to wear something, a shirt that represented our vocation, our craft, our calling. Thursday was a lot of fun to see. It was like prom or your prom or your wedding day. So we had people in their bridesmaids, dresses. We had our
Oh man,
dudes in suits and tuxes. It was really neat. And then Friday
that's
was your
cool.
favorite college day or your college that you came from. And you can imagine kids had a lot of fun with it, trying to figure out what it was. The end of the week, Mrs. Holmes and Coach Duffy, who is a legend here as our Dean of Students, they handed out these little paper forms at both of our lunches with, Monday through Friday, where kids had to try to name the theme each day. If they got all 5 right, they got entered into a raffle, and all the kids that got all 5 days right got Subway delivered to them.
That is awesome. So, obviously, I assume that the staff had a lot of fun, especially knowing that a lot of them participated. And um, do you kind of, I don't, it's not the right term, but I want to say almost like play dumb about it. Do you guys kind of like try and treat it like it's, just to see if you can pique the interest, to have a natural curiosity for the students, then to maybe have some, it kind of, I'd have to imagine it lends itself to having kids have some just fun, not academic based, just relational kind of conversations and questions when they realize maybe their teacher is from the 80s and got this awesome 80s prom. So they're asking them about their time when they were in high school growing up, or their prom. And it probably offers those opportunities. And I have to imagine that's kind of the point, right?
Preach. That's it. You nailed it. Our going back to that Every Student Known initiative, we want all 1,100 of our kids to have a authentic relationship, and we kind of our barometer for that is that we want each of those 1,100 to have at least one adult in this building that they would go to in a time of significant adversity, that they trust and have a true connection with. Well, we're using, Mr. Dave Stewart's Moments of Genuine Connection to fuel that in every classroom. However, Super Secret Staff Spirit Week also helps fuel that. And that's why we're going to do another one as well. Because we just want our kids to feel that authentic relationship, not it's like when you were kids and you saw your teacher in a grocery store and you're like, whoa, that's just mind-boggling. What, you have a life outside of the
I know,
walls
right?
of our school. We want them to feel that authenticity, because we know that can be a proactive approach to a lot of the mental and emotional health issues that are happening in our schools today. Really building
Absolutely.
that relationship, that connection to prevent issues as much as we possibly can.
Absolutely. I will, I'm a rural area principal when I was a principal, and I've always grown up in kind of these smaller communities. And that was always, in my mind, one of the pros of, you might be a smaller building, it might be limited resources, right? But one of the pros is you got to see your teachers. Chances are your teacher might also be your coach, might also be your driver's ed instructor, might also be your bus driver, might see him at church on Sunday or in the grocery store or out to a restaurant on Friday. And so you get to see these people in different lights outside of just my teacher, right? And it offers opportunities just to make connections, develop relationships, being able to just have conversations outside of, curriculum. And I think there was a lot of power in that. So as schools that might be in, even there might be tight knit communities, even if it's a larger school setting with 1,100 plus kids, it's nice that you have programs in place. So I do want to talk about Every Student Known. I will say, almost in a way, the Super Secret Staff Spirit Week. I think I got the S's out of turn, but it's kind of like Every Teacher Known, right? In a way, it gives an opportunity to almost mirror the student program that you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's just bringing a little more vulnerability. This place is special. And I think everybody feels that about their building, but I just fell into a place here a year and a half ago where there's just tremendous educators, just great instructors and just high performing. And we have tremendous rigor, and with that, we're just trying to grow greater relationships. And again, it's just it's just proactive approaches. There's so many. We do a great job with reactive here as well. I mean, we have an incredible counseling team here that's servicing kids on a daily basis with mental health. We have a tremendous threat assessment protocol. We do a lot of reactive measures when things happen. We just trying to become more proactive with relationships and connection.
Absolutely. Switching to that Every Student Known initiative, can you just tell us a little more? How long have you been doing that? What are some ways that you are supporting students and trying to support that program? Just talk a little bit about that, Todd.
Yes, sir. So we did this at Palm Westphalia, and now we're doing it here at Cedar Springs. Mrs. Danielle Paoni is championing this effort. She is our lead mental health counselor here. She just has taken this and owned it. And we just worked on it yesterday at Team PD some more, just going through the charts. And I think we need maybe one more session to get everybody through all 1,100 kids. Just the charts, if I could explain them, if you can visualize, it's just got all 1,100 kids' names divided by, class of 2024, 25, 26, 27. And then there's 4 columns next to each student's name. The first column is the description is them by name and face. So if Johnny Jones by name and face, you put a check or a dot. The next column, and it obviously moves up in intimacy or level of connection. The next is the student scholastically. So that would be something more like, I know they're a strong math student. You know what I mean? I know they're a strong, I know they're a great ball player in baseball or hoops, et cetera, et cetera. The next column, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. That's why I'm looking on my phone. I should know these by now. I'll just go to the last column. The last column is the most important, the 4th column, and that's the student will come to me. I feel confident that they'd come to me if they needed help, in a time of greater adversity. And that's the one we're trying to get a check mark for every kid. Because we know if we've got a check mark in that 4th final column, we feel like we can help them in a proactive approach. The 3rd column I missed was I know something personal about the student.
Okay.
So those are the 4.
That must really provide a nice visual to be able to look, and it really helps probably teachers kind of reflect onto, especially when they see kids the name and face, because they have them in class, but then as they move kind of across, that's got to be some pretty powerful reflection to be able to go, man, I know the kid, I know the name, I can say hi in the hallway, I know how they're doing in my class, but can I take that a little further, a little deeper, right? Because every building is this way. I'm sure there's kids that got checks all across the board by many, and there's got to be some that don't have barely any at all. And it really probably opens your eyes to what can we do for kids who need to have that adult, that champion for them in their building.
Preach. I mean, it's for those who are, competitive by nature, it challenges you. It has here, and it did at PW. I know at PW, and again, we've just begun here, but at PW it was really cool. So from the moment we started, usually it was late fall, and then at every proceeding Team PD, we'd bring it up. We'd take it from the charts and move it to a Google Doc. We projected on the screen, and we would just go through kid by kid that still didn't have a check in that final column. And it was really neat to hear teammates say, "Oh, I got him. I'm going to get him this week.
Yeah.
He'll have a check by next PD." You know what I mean? Or there'd be a little skirmish, like, "No, I got him. I
Yeah.
see him at
No, no,
lunch," or he's coming to my club, after school, and
yeah,
just fighting for kids, just
that's
truly
cool.
fighting for kids. And it's eye opening for those kids that are shadows,
Yeah.
that are the least of these. And then it challenges us to do something about it.
I really like too that it takes it a little more than just surface level. Like, oh, I know then I can say hi, I have a connection, but really dive into the most important aspect is, do they feel like they have somebody they can go to? I remember doing things in my building, and again, these are more surface level, not a ton of structure to them, but we might do like a draft with our at-risk kids, right? And everybody's going to pick a couple kids to really try and champion and check on their grades, talk to their teachers, see how you can help, over the course of a semester. Then you might monitor that progress. Or we did one time we took every kid in the building and we were going to send them a little postcard home. Just write, how often do kids get anything in the mail anymore, right?
Yeah.
And just say, hey, and it doesn't have to be for the A, it's not, don't go grabbing the A+ kids first out of it. Like, really think about it. Take some time. And so by the end of the year, the goal was there was not going to be a single kid left that didn't have some sort of adult reach out, just easy in the mail, little postcards. I had little cool little sayings, some were fun, some were inspiring.
Yes.
But I like yours because, again, I think those are kind of more, they're nice, they're surface level, but yours really takes it to the deeper, most important part of, do they feel like they have this adult in the building they can go to? So this is really great stuff. These are the things when I miss being a principal, because I'm like, man, I'd
Yeah.
love to be sitting in that room going through the charts. Um, kind of last question here, Todd. Do you think is there a difference? Should there be a difference? And if it's not, that's okay. In terms of how building leaders or leaders in general should go about trying to create a positive culture with staff or teachers as compared to students. Do you think there is a difference?
Oh, that's a great question. This just my belief. I've always believed that the greatest, the most champion relationships, the most champion teams, the most champion marriages, the most champion businesses, as I've studied, they have tremendous communication, and they have tremendous trust. So to get to those champion relationships, whether it be adult to adult or professional to professional, or student to student or student to professional, we have to put those stakeholders in contexts where communication and trust are just expected. And that's where we, in our team PDs, we spend a good portion of our PDs, not just at the start of the year, but throughout, on relationship building. And we're focusing on communication and trust, because we know if there's, authentic listening and exchange, and then there's authentic trust, we believe an authentic relationship can come from that. And then everything we do in PD, we are explicit in stating we're modeling for the classroom. So take what we're doing in Team PD and apply to your craft in your room. And we see a lot of that. We see positive closures for learning where just like at Team PD last night, we finished with all 80 of us in a circle in a big oval. We see educators ending their classes circled up, hip to hip, shoulder to shoulder, with kids talking about, their one word from the lesson, or an apology, appreciation, or aha. It's both formative assessment, but more than anything, it builds communication and trust and relationships. So to answer your question, I don't see much of a difference, because I believe champion relationships are built upon communication and trust, and you have to put any stakeholder in an opportunity and context to grow communication and trust.
Absolutely. I agree with everything you said there. Even though the strategies sometimes they change, for adults versus kids, but it's still based on the same foundation as you mentioned. And, communication, trust, and then modeling is a perfect example. We want to, we should be off, just the safe space we offer a teacher to come into our office and close the door and be able to get through a difficult conversation. Do we allow that to a kid that's in a tough spot to be able to come in and feel safe and trusted, to be able to come in and sit with you in your office and figure out a difficult conversation or what it might be. So that's awesome. So Todd, I really appreciate the time. I loved hearing about the Staff Spirit Week, the getting to know every student known, excuse me. So love all the things you're always doing, man. Appreciate the time, and best of luck getting through that again in the springtime with your teachers. Excited to hear what you guys end up doing for days next time I see you.
Yeah. And I just want to again give a shout out to Mrs. Holmes and Mrs. Teskey for running the super secret Staff Spirit Week, and also Mrs. Paoni here for championing our Every Student Known initiative, and Mr. Dave Stewart for teaching us all about how important the moments of genuine connection are with our kids to fuel every student known. Just want to give a shout out to them, and also shout out to Mr. C for what he does for Team MASSP. His work does not go unnoticed. Thank you, Mr. C.
I appreciate that. I can edit that last part out. That's fine. But all right, thanks, Todd. Appreciate your time.
All right, stay up. Go Cedar.
And that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for listening to the MASSP podcast. Remember, you can listen to this podcast and others anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Just search for MASSP or hit the subscribe button right now.